afternoon. I'm Joe Hyde, and this is email newsletters. Did y'all sign up for email newsletters? If y'all want to talk about fundraising or whatever they're doing next door, if not having any fun, go next door. I have Ted Williams from the Charlotte Agenda.
Charlotte Agenda, yes.
Yes. And Dave Walsh, he's from Walsh Creative. He's a web developer. And I'm Joe Hyde. I'm with San Angelo Live. We're just going to have a panel, kind of free form. Dave Walsh will talk from the technical. I'll talk from the strategic. You'll talk from the strategic and technical.
Sure.
Okay. And we'll just kind of talk about strategies around email newsletters. There's two things that seem to be breaking out on the web. One is the newsletters are becoming more important. If you're a fan of Axios, I don't know if anyone's heard of Axios. I mean, they're taking what Politico did with newsletters to the next level. If you read, go subscribe to some of the Axios newsletters. You can kind of see what he's doing. In the other DC media, the other one I look at a lot is Ben Domenech with the Transom. He writes kind of a link journalism newsletter. He charges $30 a year to get it. So he's actually putting revenue on with subscription. He has about 7,000 or 8,000 paying subscribers. So he makes money on it. And then there's a whole lot of other things that are more automated that you can get, like, Dallas Morning News. I ran the newsletters at Dallas Morning News for a year. And I know that they didn't even look at it as a revenue source until I started saying, hey, this Dallas Cowboys newsletter gets opened by 50,000 people every day. Why don't we put ads in it? And they go, well, we don't know if it would compromise our editorial integrity. I said, no, it won't, but you'll make money. And so we started running employment ads in all things. But anyway, I started with the newsletter stuff a while back probably about 20 years ago when I had an internet service provider. We used a newsletter strategy, and it worked back then. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let Dave, want you to introduce yourself and you can kind of talk about what you see with newsletters.
David Walsh, Walsh Creative. We work with publishers to automate newsletters, create custom templates that fit the publisher's personality, build in ad placements or placements for sponsored content. And we try to build everything so that it's automated and low maintenance. So I'm going to have Doug Rainey chat real quick about how he used to manually create his newsletter and we were able to automate it. So I figured it'd be good to hear from an independent publisher real quick.
Well, that's Dave started out redesigning my website, and about after that went live, he talked to me about automating the newsletter. And I'd been kind of in the scrape world in the newspaper business, and it had mixed success with, I would say, it was a constant contact, not to knock them down too much, but the scrapes were sporadic, and sometimes went back 3 or 4 days, and various other things happened. So I was a skeptic, but he talked to me, and I thought, well, let's give it a shot. And as of early this month, I believe we went live with a newsletter, which has sort of an Axios look. Actually, if you look at it, it's a very clean and easy to read and so forth. And it remains a work in progress to some extent. We're going to continue to refine it a little bit and bring a little more personality to it. The old newsletter, which took a few hours every day, maybe more than a few if I was fired up about something. But it took a lot of time. It was a huge time suck, and it had problems with the placement of ads. The great thing that David did was that the ads rotate around, so I don't have somebody complaining that ad stuck at the bottom of the page. And so that's really changed it. I would say the format is very popular with advertisers. I think it needs some work, minor tweaking on the other end. to get at that personality. We're gonna work on that next few months, right? And but overall, it's been a big success because it allows me to generate more content. And we are a breaking news website, and people are looking for news. We call it Delaware Business Now, and that's what people want. They want breaking news delivered in an accurate manner, and the newsletter is one step towards providing that. And also for verticals, busy business people, they're not going to look at your website every two or 3 hours. They're going to want to see something they can receive at a certain time of day. And I think we've accomplished all that. And my biggest advertiser is very happy. So.
Well, down there at the Charlotte agenda, kind of give a quick synopsis of what you're doing in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, so we're a local pub aimed at the young professionals in Charlotte. We target the 25 to 45-year-olds in Charlotte. Launched 2.5 years ago. We like to make money. We're big into being a profitable media company. We were profitable last year. We'll be profitable again this year. We've got 6 full-time people, 4 part-time, and freelance as our staff. In terms of our newsletter setup, we started off as a newsletter. I couldn't be more obsessive and psycho about newsletters. I view it as our most important product. We've got 30,000 subs. We use MailChimp. It takes us between 2 to 4 hours a day to create a handcrafted newsletter. We take it seriously. It's more important than our website. I honestly put our newsletter number 1 in terms of an asset, our Instagram handle number 2, and our website number 3 in terms of where we place our energy and our effort. In terms of making money, I love newsletters because it's just like Facebook. Facebook makes $1 gazillion. Well, I don't know how much it makes, billions of dollars. But they make billions of dollars because they deliver ads in a feed. Whereas if if you're just looking at a page view website, you can't take page views to a bank. Like it's not that valuable. So whether you get 1 million page views or 3 million page views, the monetary difference from my standpoint is just not that much. From a newsletter, the ads are delivered in feed, and so I think that's critical. It makes it more valuable. In terms of ad delivery, we don't do any traditional display. We don't serve any of our ads inside of our newsletter. It's all text. And we do a photo of the day. So we keep everything super custom, kind of handcrafted. Our open rate's about 45%. And it's a key driver of our business. And we'll do, just to share numbers with you, because I think this is important as a local publisher. We'll do over $1 million in revenue this year, with the newsletter being kind of that core product that ties in all of our ad programs. So that's a little bit from the technology side and from an execution side, but it couldn't be a larger deal to us, and I'm a big believer in newsletters, both ad-based newsletters and paid newsletters. If I was a journalist, I'd go start a paid newsletter. I just happen to come from the ad business world and believe that an ad-supported model works better given the dynamics of our team. But huge newsletter believer.
And Ted, on your newsletter product, how are you capturing, first of all, your reader, how many people live in Charlotte? You cover all of Charlotte?
Yeah, we cover all. So like in the center city area, it's about 850,000.
And so there 850,000 is your target market. And I guess the 21 to 24-year-olds, probably what, like 250,000 people?
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay. And you're able to get 30,000, so it's almost a 10%.
Yeah, we look at wanting to have 10% of the influential population. And honestly, most people don't care. People say they care about local news. If you look at their habits, entertainment is obviously key and only getting better and better. National news is really interesting right now. So our newsletter is a daily product. And so to get, that 30,000 people care enough on a daily level about local news is a lot. I think that candidly, we want to reach just the influential set. And that's enough to have a really good ad-supported business.
And you said it takes you 3 hours to curate the newsletter. When do you start and when do you send it out?
So we start at 1:30 and we batch publish. So
in the afternoon? Or?
Yes, in the afternoon. So I'll run you through our exact systems. We don't continuously publish. I don't believe in continuously publishing given a small team. So we update our site once a day. And so we batch publish every single morning at around 6:30 or so. And so basically, we pre-program for the day before for the next day. So we'll publish between 3 to 5 original pieces every single day. Those will be in the newsletter. We also have some type of intro that's typically personal. We do a job of the day, event of the day, charlatan of the day, and we curate probably between 3 to 7 stories every single day. We have a photo of the day also. So
when you say curate a story, does that mean you're using link journalism, or that those are the stories you're creating?
we will have our 3 to 5 original pieces, links out to that, and then we will curate from, in our certain case, it's the Charlotte Observer, Charlotte Business Journal, but mostly a lot of the breaking news that's interesting is happening on social. So we'll curate a lot to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Okay.
So it's a mix of that. So starts at 1:30. We program that. So a certain editor programs that for about 30 minutes or an hour. And then we'll have a second person go in the afternoon, update it with any afternoon, evening stories, and then at night we'll program all of our advertising into it. So it is a process. It's a pain in the ass, and it's also our business. So like we take it really seriously, and handcrafting everything matters because most people skimp on their newsletters. Like most people have crappy newsletters. So it was easy for us to launch because we were immediately able to be the #1 newsletter, because if you're like a local newspaper or TV station, you're just scraping and stuff, and it looks crappy, and then anyone with a brain reads it, and it's like, okay, they just automated, took in the links, and it's not a newsletter, they don't really care. So that was it. That allowed us to differentiate and come into the market with the #1 product quickly.
What kind of products are in your newsletter?
Can you show us an example?
Yeah, we want to see. Is it a MailChimp deal?
Yeah, it's a MailChimp deal. No, I can't. I could forward today's email.
You want me to bring it up?
Yeah.
Probably pull up in the archive.
This is-
Yeah.
I got it.
That's our website. Yes.
That's the website.
Yeah.
So everyone subscribe.
We don't even publish our newsletter to our website.
No.
We just.
Can you at least tell us more about the text-based advertising you're talking about?
Yeah, we'll just pull up an actual newsletter.
There you go.
Yeah. Get somebody smarter than me to pull up the actual
I could
newsletter.
lower this thing and I could open it.
Is it subscription
Here's
based?
the sign.
Yeah. Everybody opts in. We don't do any funky list building stuff. We keep the list pure.
If somebody has an email up there that's on the computer, we can forward you an email.
Yeah, we're working on it.
I have.
We got it.
Did you say when you just plug this in?
We send it out at about 6:10 every single morning.
Is it finished?
What was the growth like? What did you start with, and when did you start being able to actually monetize that via ads?
We monetized immediately. Big believer in trying to make money right from the beginning. I think that in a previous world, you could think about the journalism first, business model second, and now you can't. You have to think about the business model first and what type of journalism can be supported with that business model. So we monetized from day one. Day one, we had like 500 subs. I just got friends and family and people like that to sign up, and the growth has been painful. Like 50 people a day for 2.5 years. So we don't do anything gimmicky. We don't hold a contest to get newsletter subs. We don't do a pop-up. We just view them as annoying, and so we don't try to do that. So it's been all word of mouth, and I'm a big believer in either our newsletter is going to be good or we suck and we need to go get other jobs. So like I was a little bit hardcore about trying to figure that out early. Yeah.
Did you test other times to send it?
No. I'm still a believer in art over data in a lot of the media world.
I agree with that. I think that, particularly when you're doing your hand curating part of it, you got to do it on the schedule that's comfortable to you. But thinking you don't want to put the thing out at 1 in the morning. And the second thing I think on this is, I think for your market, you need to do it when all the cubicle dwellers are sitting in their cubicles because they're not working. They're looking at your email newsletter. So it has to be during the day, during the work day. And it really depends on, like if you do something right before, we do ours right before lunch. So once you go through the sections.
Yeah. Let me just walk through. Okay, so we say, hey, it's intro. Andrew, our editor-in-chief, wrote it today. Our big lead story was a voting guide. we have this vital section where we try to be quick. So we give the weather, we give a stat of the day, job of the day, bonus job of the day. Those are all paid. Our job board is now a really big money maker for us, and this allows distribution. Charlatan of the day. So kind of some quick snapshots there. These are our original stories. So we got 1, 2, 3 mixed with our lead stories, so 4 stories that we put out today. Construction update on a craft beer spot, quick primer on parks, and then a guide to buying offices that look like homes. These are our curated links. Lawrence Broadcaster, Cam Newton walked out of a press conference, Bank of America exec, and the Steakhouse is offering a special.
Is that a paid?
No, it's not. So it's not.
They're using you, huh?
We believe in bringing useful information to our audience. So like, saving money is useful.
So you're putting your audience first. The reason why this newsletter is successful is because your audience wants to read it.
I think they have perceived value from it. So it allows them to make better choices locally. So they make better choices on who to vote for, to where to go get a steak dinner. So we're not above anything. And then this is our partner news section. So these are all paid. Bank of America is a client. They're promoting a Better Money Habits. Big performing arts centers promoting something. A science center is promoting something. These are paid events.
What do you charge for those?
These are annual deals. Our annual deals run between $25,000 a year and $90,000 a year. So we try to lock in big annual deals. Our events are $300 for a featured event. So these are featured events. When we do homes, we charge $100 for a home.
How many subscribers or how many advertisers do you have every year on your newsletter?
We have 25 total annual sponsors, and then people can buy events and jobs on a one-off basis.
You have 25 annual sponsors paying $25,000 a year?
Or more.
To reach 30,000
Let's reach 30,000 email. They also do things on our site. We do event activations for them.
So you're bundling email ads or placements with placements on your site?
Correct.
and events?
Correct. We rarely try to do events because they're a pain in the ass.
Right.
And they're hard. And they're hard. And our Instagram has also been a really big. I think that's what most of our advertisers are interested in right now. Instagram's hot. We have 83,000 followers on Instagram, and like it's a big deal, especially being just reporting Charlotte stuff. That's a large population in Charlotte, so it's really visual. Instagram is something that we see all of our advertisers gravitating towards.
And you putting promoted content on your Instagram for the client?
Probably maybe 1 out of every 10 posts are paid. And we say paid and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
absolutely.
we run an Instagram handle. I mean, it's not rocket. I mean, it's. I guess it is rocket science. I mean, we spend a lot of our time on newsletter, a lot of our time on Instagram, and then some time on written web stories. That's one of the least valuable activities from a media standpoint. A lot of people are consuming us on those other channels.
How different is your sales pitch for newsletters compared to the site that everyone else refers to?
I can't hear you exactly.
I want to know how different is your sales pitch for newsletters as opposed to other things?
So we bundle all of our programs together. So we do a 12-month contract. So it all depends on the client's need. Our newsletter is, so it's all bundled in. We don't do any one-off stuff. We decided to not do one-off just because it didn't make any sense. We would just be really busy and not make any money. So that's not a good business. That's the rest. And then this is just a photo of the day. It's a really cool restaurant that's cozy. So we say something clever like, chilly fall weather. It's not as cold as here. And then let's sit in a booth, order this dish because it's really good.
Do they pay for that?
No. And then we do this is a quick spotlight. We do an annual newcomers guide. So we spotlight that once a month or somewhere around there. And then we do a quick sign off, and that's it. So this is that's our total newsletter. But it takes a while. I mean, it's a pain in the ass to put together.
Do you do that every day?
We do that every day.
5 days a week or 7
Monday
days?
through Friday, we do a roundup on Saturdays of our most popular stories. On Sundays, we drop a careers newsletter where we do, our job board has been a really big revenue driver for us. And so we created a jobs and careers newsletter that we drop every single Sunday that has the 50 most recent job postings and some insights from career professionals.
What do you charge to have a company advertise a job?
It's $200.
So cheaper than Monster.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like honestly, the reason that came is we editorially selected a job of the day, and I kept getting emails being like, "Can we have the job of the day? Can we post our job?" And I kept saying no, and I was like, "Wait a minute! If people are willing to do that, let's create a job board." Because like from an intuitive standpoint, who needs another job board? You have Indeed, Monster, Career Builder, LinkedIn, blah blah blah. But we built it, and it cost $1,000, $2,000, and then people started posting, and now it'll be annualized probably $150,000 revenue for us. Like it's a job board. There's not a whole lot of work.
So it's $200, and how long do you leave the job up for?
60 days, or until the position's full.
Is the job board set up so they post, or do they have to submit it to you? And
They post. We try to not have humans do anything.
can you put job secrets on there?
We do not do that.
I think it's brilliant that you package everything together so you're not making the customer think, well, what's this and what do I get? But were you a newsletter before you were a website, or your website before you were a newsletter?
We were a newsletter before we were a website.
Yeah.
We did charge. I mean, we did desperate things when we were young and desperate. So we did like $1,000. No, we did. I think $1,000 sponsored posts, $2,000 sponsored posts, and then we just got out of that game. We decided either we're going to work with big brands that want to do branding to reach the next generation of Charlotte, or we don't, or we stay.
Why do you not integrate images into the newsletter? Did that not work at one point? Or?
We have one image, and I just think it's really important to not have that many images. I think it's just a personal art taste. Like, I think text is, I like it.
And also, if you look at the modern stuff, like Ben Dominich's newsletter has no images in it other than his logo. Axios has very few images. I think they have header images, and that's it. The header images for each story.
GIF every once
And
in a while.
Yeah.
including images, like in MailChimp via feed, is really difficult to get that image to look good on every single device. You can customize for iPhone, but then if someone's using the Gmail app on iPhone, it's going to look different than when they view it in the browser on Safari on iPhone. It's very difficult to get those images to always look right. Majority of the time they're going to come out distorted. So,
we're also big believers in being scarce. So if you only have one image, then it pops. If you only have one job of the day, then it pops. And so we try to create a false sense of scarcity in an internet world where it's infinite. Web pages are infinite.
Dave, when you're working with MailChimp, for example, how do you design so it works on? I mean, there's 38 different types of screens in email, and you have limited HTML tags you can use because not every email client sees it. Hotmail strips stuff out, Gmail strips stuff out, so to kind of give an idea of how to make it responsive at the same time, working across 38 different types of email clients.
it's really like when you're embedding a lot of images or any images, it becomes a like this is good enough standpoint, and it's customizing it as much as possible for its images to look as good as possible for the majority of your customers. It's extremely difficult, like I said, to get it to look good for everyone. As you know, running publisher sites, you're always going to have someone complaining about something. So we use as much HTML customization to hit the big devices and like Gmail apps, Safari, Chrome, iOS, Android as best as possible.
If you look at Ted's layout here, he's using straight up HTML. I mean, that's probably a horizontal rule. I'm just guessing. It's just, I mean, he doesn't have any special color for the links. He's using, it's probably strong for bolding, right? I'm using the HTML tags. So it's very, very clean as far as basic HTML. And so that has more uniform conformity across your different devices when you're not trying to get real complex. And one of the problems I see, even as an agency guy before I started my website, was, like, particularly these Austin public policy guys, they always want to have these really fancy emails, but they, it ended up costing them like 10 times more money just to make that little triangle-looking thing look the same across all the screens. But this right here, and this is what you're seeing with Axios, this is what you're seeing with the Transit. You're doing a simple design, and that probably makes it easier to suck it in from WordPress too.
Yeah.
Your automation. So
I'll get into the automation a little bit.
But as far as making money on our side in San Angelo, I did the same thing. I bundle it. I bundle our email things. The pain point that the customer has with me, and the reason why they want to buy an email ad from me, is they want to see their ad, right? When you put them in, when you're doing 750,000 sessions a day or a month in your site, and they buy 50,000 impressions, they probably will never see their ad displayed on your website. But if you bundle that with an email newsletter placement that's in rotation, then you can say your ad's always going to be in the news section of our email, for example.
Got it.
So
Who does verticals or breaking news emails in addition to your main email newsletter? Why or why not?
time. I don't do it because of time. And the other thing I would say on it is you have to be very respectful of your reader's email box. If you're sitting there cramming it with a bunch of stuff, your guys, I mean, MailChimp gives you a 1 through 5 star rating for each one of your subscribers. Well, I always worry about my 3-star guys. I know the 2-star guys are going to drop off sooner or later, or they're from Russia. I don't want to make my 3-star guys mad because they're trying to decide whether they're going to move up to 4-star and 5-star, or they're going to quit opening my email. If I send them too much stuff, they'll never open my email.
We probably did about 2 in the past 12 months. And there's not that many things that can't wait until next morning. We can't with you.
Bank of America leave Charlotte. You can send it a breaking news.
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
Ted, can I
We do,
ask, how do you go about getting your, you said you get a lot of word of mouth, but what else do you do to get your subscribers? What's your focus there, knowing that your newsletter is number one?
We focus on the quality of the product. I know that sounds weird because most people are looking for shortcuts to grow their email list. We make the sign-up page look normal. But honestly,
It's
we want...
beyond normal, though. Go look at a sign-up page. It's got a good sign-up page.
I don't even know what our sign-up page looks like right now. Hopefully it's a memorable sign-up page. And that's really it. I mean, like, a lot of it is... and it's important to us because it feels insidery. Like, we want to just have the influential set. So, like, we don't go... If people want reach, you just go to Facebook. I mean, like, it's a joke. Like, they can reach everyone more targeted for less money. So, like, we can't compete on having 1 gazillion people. It doesn't matter. It's having an intimate relationship with the right set of people that are important to advertise to a certain set of people that buy media.
When you are signing up the big banks for the 25K and 50K packages, how granular do you get? Because you have a lot of details that you're managing from them. You're promoting a lot of their specific events.
Yeah.
How do you handle all that data coming at you and making sure that you've got their event going out when they want it?
We get very granular. We're obsessive over it. If you think about it, we've got 27 clients, and those are just 27 sales. So over 2.5 years, we're not doing that many sales, so we spend a ton of time. And sales sucks. It's really hard. I mean, like, that's the really hard. This stuff is fun. Putting together a newsletter with, the specials at the restaurant and a voting guide. That's fun. Finding out the decision maker inside of Bank of America to see, because their corporate budget goes here and whatever here, and like figuring out what's the value. How do you explain integrations into a newsletter
to a dedicated salesperson that works with each specific brand then, and they manage all the details?
Salespeople?
Yeah, so we have a Lizzie here manages all of our partnerships. So on a day-to-day level, there's a lot of things going on. So let's just call it 25, use a round number, day-to-day stuff. And then we don't do too much other business development stuff, because we'll maybe have a couple clients cancel over the course of the year or not renew for the next year. But if you think about it, we don't do that many sales. So we focus a lot of effort on really good customer service.
This is a free subscription?
Yeah.
Product? Yeah.
And one of the things about dealing with your clients is, if particularly large clients are paying $30,000, $40,000 a year, you kind of learn their pulse. You kind of learn, like a car deal. I have a car deal with Jim Bass Ford. I know when he doesn't sell 380 cars off his lot that month. I know that the F-250 is the hottest thing he's got going right now. I know these things, so I just call up the marketing director and say, hey, you want to put some F-250s in the email tomorrow? They say, yeah, or just send them an email. Or she'll send me an email and saying, hey, we're having some kind of event on Friday. Can you whip something up for me real quick? And we just do it. Same thing with like we have 6 bars that we deal with. Live music venues. We know we know who's number 1, who's number 2. We kind of know what their alcohol sales are off the TABC. We kind of know what the clients want. And then I have 2 salespeople that are act like me, and they go out and they talk to them. And you kind of got to build those relationships when you have the high paying guys. I wouldn't do it for a $250 a month client.
What do you charge for the bars that have their stuff listed?
My minimum now to even have a bar that wants me to do their event stuff is $1,500 a month. So and we put all their stuff in our event calendar. They'll call us up and ask us. Like we have one bar that's kicking off. They're taking off and beating everyone else. But he called me this morning and goes, "Hey, should I bring Mark Chestnut? Is that an artist? I think. Should I have him come next month? Do you think you could sell any tickets to it?" I have no idea, but sure. But they'll ask us what you think of this, because we see the engagement across Facebook, and I don't use Instagram because nobody in West Texas knows what Instagram is, but they're all on Facebook, especially the women. And then we know what our Google Analytics are. And so I can tell you, like we put on a Lost Lonely Boys concert last month, and I could tell you a week out how many people are going to show up, just based on how many people were clicking on the banner ads, how many people were engaged on the Facebook posts and things like that.
What was your rate of email list growth over time? How much time, and what do you contribute to the success of the growth of your list?
So we personally see about 50 people a day.
50 people sign up a day? I'm moving to Charlotte.
But did you start that way?
Yeah, it's been pretty steady, honestly.
Yeah.
It'll fluctuate between 20 and 70.
And what do you attribute to that success? Just word of mouth?
We try to make our product really good.
Do you have people you encourage people to forward the email to their friends?
We don't.
You don't do any of that?
No.
A question on product, please. David Wallster, what kind of choices do we have? Is MailChimp the only newsletter product you suggest?
Are you guys sending through MailChimp?
We're sending through MailChimp. I'm personally a MailChimp lover.
Yeah, MailChimp's, I'll touch on the technical side, but MailChimp's the best in my opinion because the RSS automation. Ted has a very custom approach with a small publisher that has a small staff and can't dedicate 3-4 hours a day to building a newsletter. There's a lot of options with automating it. MailChimp is going to be a cheap, effective way to send out your email. They do have templates, but you can also go in, select all, delete the whole template, and build your own, customize it, and have your own personality. That's what we do, and what I'll show you some screenshots of.
Yeah, and ours is pretty ugly. I'm not sure I'm in love with our templates, our design. I like the content.
Seems to be working.
The actual
I know.
it's not an amazing design. It's just a bunch of text.
You want to look at some of the tech stuff real quick?
Go ahead and show the tech stuff. We're going to look at the behind the scenes MailChimp ideas from Mr. Walsh.
We've got a question back here.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, what's the split in revenue size between subscriptions? Because that's a paid product, right?
No.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I can tell you, our overall revenue, about 70% is annual deals. We have a membership program, it's $5 a month, buy kind of feel-good NPR type stuff. That's less than 5%. We have a job board that's about 10% now, and that's $200 to post a job. And we have a featured events, that's $300 to post a featured event, and that's probably 5%. And then we do annual campaigns. We have a $10,000 minimum for people to buy larger programs and packages. And we can't land that many deals because they're really hard. And so, we probably do 5 to 10 of those a year. So that's another 5%. So that's, the majority of our revenue comes from those big annual partnerships. And we think of them like you would sponsor a sports stadium. Where you get some signage, display advertising, whatever, some activation, some fun, pokey stuff, and a lot of integration stuff. Just like a minor league baseball stadium would sell something you see on the outfield spins. We have a vacuum cleaner night, fun, cool stuff.
Got it.
Bring your back.
And in terms of
Yeah, vacuum cleaner night wasn't a bad example. It was a bad example. I should have done a good job.
So you haven't been to vacuum cleaner night?
including some of his ads or the events or whatever it is.
I don't have your ads.
Excuse me?
Can you show us some of the ads that you have on your site? We just
On the events one?
So on the actual site,
yeah, the actual site.
we just run display.
I guess I could go-
You could just go to charlotteagenda.com. You know, most of our time is spent doing sponsored content. So we do sponsored content programs.
Yeah.
You know, we have a couple 300 by 250s. Nobody really cares about them anymore. Display is like nobody cares. I mean, it gives a big impression number, but like we don't have any smart buyers care. We don't have any buyers care. No one really cares. I wish they did because it's all.
Where's an app? Show me an app.
Stretch it out a little bit more. On mobile, I don't even know if we show display.
It's the display. So.
You're getting the mobile rendering right there.
You can zoom in.
Yeah, it's the
Screen size.
Screen
display.
size.
So it's
We're looking at iPad size.
yeah.
Yeah. So we don't even care about anything on the iPad size. I think we have one ad, and then we've got
So $80,000 and your ad doesn't show.
Honestly, it's the sponsored content. The display advertising is not important. So, like, we take advertising very seriously. I would say we take it more seriously than anybody else out in the local media space. You know, we spend a lot of time and effort, both in the analytics of it. We've got real-time dashboards built out for all of our clients. The creative is really good. We're really good at the advertising side. So, while we may not have a display ad show up on an iPad rendering, that's on purpose because it's not of value to our advertisers.
Yeah, you show some cool stuff.
All right. Who's sending emails automated through RSS already? Okay. Who doesn't know what RSS is? Okay. So that'll gear how fast I go through this. RSS feed. So an RSS feed is basically a breakdown. It seems like y'all know this, but it's the code behind the engine of your site that lists all your posts and gives all the data behind it. So you can use every time you post a story, especially any site you're using, but WordPress makes it really easy. It'll update this RSS feed. By using something like a MailChimp, you can actually drive your emails off of this RSS feed and set it to. If you set it to send at 5 a.m. every day, it'll check all your posts within the past 24 hours since the last time it's sent, and it can include them in MailChimp. And then within MailChimp, you have the ability to customize the placements, what actually shows, if you want to show the author name, you don't want to show the author name, and you can drive the engine behind this, and it's all automated based off what you're posting. So that's like an example of an RSS feed. It's just the code behind your site. We'll skip through that. So I wanted to show that while, of course, you can get really deep into this and hire a developer and someone to set it up and build this for you, you can also go into MailChimp, set up an RSS campaign, and I just want to show you kind of how easy it can be to DIY the setup a little bit. So you go in, you enter your RSS feed, you choose the day and the time that you want to send it, what days. You would have to do this for each one that you send. You can personalize, so you can do post from and include like the title and personalize that to your user. You can choose from templates or you can build your own. And this is kind of what it looks like. So you can use, MailChimp has a very robust library of their RSS tags. So you can choose from this library and just copy and paste what you want to show. So you say, I want to show the featured image here. You can go in and copy and paste that tag and include it. And it's just feed item image, feed item title, feed item content. That'll generate, then you can set it to show 5 posts, or there's only one here, or 2, so it's count equals 2. But this is all stuff that you can go in the MailChimp library and copy and paste.
And what are the applications of this? Because, we're talking about adding personality to your newsletter. For example, Delaware Business Now, your opening monologue you do at the beginning, you're actually automating, pulling in your stories from your site, but you could actually go back and say, I want to just be able to handwrite this particular section,
right,
but the rest of it could be automated. Does that make sense? So by automating, you can cut into some of those 3 hours that we all spend curating our newsletter.
Well, and that's like Doug was spending 3 hours a day on his newsletter, and it's automated to the point where now instead of spending that time on his newsletter, when he wants to do that opening intro, he just chooses a specific category in WordPress and it places all that and does the design and everything for you. So you don't have to do the double work of doing it in WordPress and then going into MailChimp and pasting everything. And then you can place ads within the newsletter while Ted's not doing that. A lot of our publishers see that as a value add for doing an upsell on the ad. So if they're running like these sub-headline ads or banner ads on their site, they'll typically charge maybe an extra $100 a week, and you can be in the newsletter.
How are you pulling those ads in?
So we're pulling them in this example in the highlighted code through BroadStreet. We worked with BroadStreet about a month ago to develop new RSS scripts for this specifically because so many publishers wanted to do it. So what we could do is create one zone in BroadStreet called like newsletter zone. We could place the ad, which you can't see it that well, but we could place it 10 times within the newsletter, and we could set the shuffle rate. So now we could have 10 ads within the newsletter that shuffle daily. So that further automates the email because you don't have to go in. Kelly from Homepage Media Group had all of her RSS set up, but she was running DFP and had to go in and paste the ads in different positions every day. Or Marcy back there from Berkshire Edge was doing that. Or Joe. So we can actually create it so that every day they'll shuffle positions. You can further with BroadStreet set those positions to serve dynamic ad content. So you could put an instant Instagram ad. So now on Monday it sends out with the advertiser's latest Instagram post. Tuesday it puts that ad in a different position and now it's another Instagram post. So now the creative of your ad is automated, the placement of your ad is automated, and the sending is automated. And you can further set that to be, change every day, every 3 days, every 30 days. That's fully customizable also. This is just one example of a publisher I pulled up quick. So they're placing stories, ads. It's very traditional format.
You were warning about how the photographs would be altered by different browsers. That was a very text-heavy newsletter. Would you be worried about how that would present?
This one here?
Yeah. I mean,
Village Green was very specific about wanting pictures this way, so I spent about 15 hours of development to make it look good in all the browsers. At the end of the day, they had the budget to pay to do that. But you could, MailChimp does have a feature called resize for RSS feed, so you can check that and it will do a good job on its own. It won't be perfect. If you want to get further into the weeds, you can pay someone to perfect it. So BroadStreet has the new RSS ad tags that will shuffle. This is just an example so you can see. It's a zone tag, so all you have to do, BroadStreet generates this for you. You copy it, you paste it, and the only thing you have to do is there's a number here, 1 and 1 and up to 0, 0. You just change that for however many placements you have. It's all very well documented on their website. So you can all hire me, but you can't do it yourself.
But it's really complex.
It is. These are actually notes that shouldn't be in the slideshow. I asked Kenny a couple questions to make sure I didn't promise anything he doesn't do. So what we do is we looked for, let's say, Delaware Business Now or Berkshire Edge. We looked at their Google Analytics reports for the month, and we looked at like a heat map of when people were going to their site, and it tells us Sunday, Monday, the time of day. And what we did was we looked for low traffic times where over a 30-day period or 60-day period they had low traffic for people coming to the site and interacting. And we started sending the newsletters during some of those low traffic times. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to send it at midnight on a Wednesday, but if you have low traffic at 6, 7, 8 a.m. on a Friday and we send a newsletter out, that's going to entice your readers that are opening the newsletter to click through and come back to your website. So we had success with doing this and increasing. On a newsletter that had about 3,000 subscribers, we saw an increase of about 12,000 views a month. So basically, those 3,000 readers that were opening it, one of them was clicking on a story to go to your website, which boosts your overall analytics.
I can't quite see the color, but it looks like Tuesday at 10.
Yeah, this is PM, this is AM, it's kind of upside down. But this is also an example of after setting up the email. So the darker blue shows high traffic, so they have high traffic all day. When Berkshire Edge, they launched a special section for real estate, and they wanted to send out a newsletter specific for real estate. So we looked at the analytics and found that the best time to send it was 8 a.m. on Friday. And by doing that, it brought about 1,800 clicks back to their site every Friday at 8 a.m. when that was a time that the average was only about 300 people viewing their site. So that boosts your overall numbers. MailChimp will give you metrics. These are some of Doug's metrics. Doug, have your permission to show this? So, Doug, Delaware Business Now. Right now, he's got about 2,200 subscribers. He's getting 26 to 30% opens and about 10% clicks on links within his newsletter. And these numbers and metrics, they hold up pretty well. The clicks will get higher over time. Like Doug said, we just launched this about a month ago. So the typical of what we see is once we're done, about 46% open with close to a 30% click rate, 35% click rate. So that's pretty good with the percentage of people open and actually clicking versus just saying this is junk and getting rid of it.
So David, the CTR is on open or on send?
This is just on the overall email in general. So those could be clicks on ads. It could be clicks on the social links within the ads.
No, understood, but
the images.
The rate is calculated against the email about open or against?
Yes, if you open it and you click, so 10% of people opened it, clicked on something on the top line.
Okay.
And one of the things about open rate, well, one of the things that, when we'll talk about competitively, I'm up against Gannett, who's got their fangs out for me. So they now are doing an AM and a PM newsletter. It's all automated. There's no soul in it. It's just USA Today crap. And I hope this is getting recorded. Zoom in on me one second. And I mean, it's awful. Gannett puts out an awful product. Got that?
I didn't hear that. Say that again.
But one of the things that they're doing now, they're saying, well, between the papers we print and the emails we send out, we have over 18,000 subscribers. All right, man. What kind of dope are they smoking in San Angelo, Texas? You think I'm going to believe that? They don't understand that who cares how many subscribers you have. This is an IT or this is a marketing guy saying, I want to know how many people open that email every day. That's your real number, and that's what you should market to your people. That way you don't have to reveal how many subscribers you have. And another thing you can do to enhance your open rate is share it on social media, share it on Facebook in San Angelo. Or if you're in, on the East Coast, West Coast, where everybody's on Instagram, with their fancy pictures, you can share it there somewhere. But use social media to enhance your open rate, and you'll see. I mean, I share my newsletter on Facebook, and if the lead story and the headline on that particular email is, car crash on US 87, body parts in the road, it's going to get opened by 50, 60,000 people. I mean, you can get almost universal coverage with it.
You say share it on Facebook. This is an option that is in the.
In MailChimp, there's a setting on the last page, on the confirmation page, where you set the open graph image, and you set the headline, and you set the blurb, or the summary. I use Zapier that automatically posts it to Facebook. Actually, I quit. There's some strategy things I'm doing. I'm not automatically posting to Facebook right now, but I'm just giving you some ideas on how to enhance your visibility of your email newsletter. And those numbers show up in your MailChimp stats, and you can go show them to your potential clients, and their eyes will bug out and go, well, my goodness, you're getting opened by 50,000 people at the Standard Times. You know, Standard Times, that's the terrible Gannett paper. They'll say, we have 17,000 subscribers, and my argument would be, yeah, you might have those 17,000 subscribers, but how many people are opening the thing up? And I'll show you that. And the deal is, the big corporations, I know this because I worked in a big corporation, they have no clue what an open rate is. So use that to your advantage and stomp them.
I was at a CRMA conference a week and a half ago, City Regional Magazines, and their publishers, they might have a list with like 50,000 subscribers, and even they're saying when you get to that scale with the total number of subscribers, they estimate that about half of them are invalid.
How many subscribers?
Like 50,000. They'll say at least half of them are nonsense on the list.
You hear that, Charlotte?
We have to wrap up, but these are just real quick some examples. Village Green, they place their ads, upcoming events, automated. Berkshire Edge, they use like a 300 by 250, which stacks actually a lot better on mobile. This is their real estate special section. Any questions? We got Dylan just yelled at us, so you can stay and ask questions, or that's it.
I would say one final thing is like devoting. I think it's important to see where you devote your effort, whether it's web, text, in forms of stories, or in forms of product. And like that makes a big difference in making money. And so I see a lot of publishers devote too much time to web text, which is stories, and they don't have a business model. They have a struggling business model.
Be product developers.
I mean, I think it's important to understand product and how that fits into a business model.
That's all we have.
Thank you.